Hello and welcome to my channel, Sailorette.Plans. My name is Jessica and today we're doing a Q&A video featuring my husband, Matt. Say hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So this is actually part 2 to the Q&A question. So I'll have the first one linked down below. Now you guys, this is part of a YouTube collab video and I will explain all of that towards the end of the video. We just want to go ahead and get started with the actual Q&A if you are interested. Um, okay, so right where we left off, Monique at Plan Holland. Halen, do you both dream of sailing the seas together, or did one of you have to convince the other? I think this is where we left off. I hope this is where we left off. But sorry, I'm kind of getting over a little bit of a sickness here. To answer your question, it wasn't my dream to sail. He hates when I say this to people, but it wasn't my dream. I've always dreamed of traveling, but I've never dreamed of traveling via sailboat. So it's been a I wouldn't say a lifelong dream of his, but it's been a passion and a dream of his for like well over a decade now. So we're actually living it. Do you have anything else to add?
I mean, it took a lot of convincing.
It sure did. And then after a few years, I just realized that this wasn't going to go away. And I figured, you know what? Who am I to come in between him and his dream? So it's either I'm on board with it or not. And of course, I want to be with him. So I figured, let's just do this. The fun part is the actual destination for me. Okay, so Selena at Selena.Plans asks, how did all this happen living on a sailboat? Some of these questions might overlap with the first video, but I don't remember what questions we answered or
I
what.
mean, I think we kind of went over this, but I mean, I had read a book about, I don't know, 12 years ago
I'll pop
about,
it here.
yeah, about a girl who turned 18 and her dad had saved up money for her to either go to college or buy a sailboat and sail around the world. And yeah, that kind of just sparked a dream for me, and it made me want to move to Florida and start looking at boats. And we ended up buying one, lost it in a hurricane, and then bought our second one, which is this one, and started sailing full time.
So yeah, actually before that, we were kind of like looking into RVing. We knew we wanted to travel some way or in some format. And so that book kind of just inspired him to like, why stay in one country and explore all of the US when we can like buy a boat and sail across oceans and visit multiple countries around the world. So, yes, I hope that answers your question, Selena. So, next is Jana at Happy Planner Jana. Who came up with the idea of your sailing trips, you or your hubby?
That'd be me.
That would be the hubby. Yes, I think I've kind of already touched on that. Amanda Lynn over at Lost Without a Plan asks, do you fish along the way? And I think we also touched on this on the first one, and
We try to.
we try to. And she also wants to know, what's the coolest fish you've caught?
Probably the ones that we haven't got into the boat, ones that we lost as we were pulling them up into the boat. But
That's true.
I don't know. The coolest one would probably, I don't know, mahi mahi.
Yeah, I think so. We've caught mahi mahi, we've caught tuna, which was bad. It was full of parasites, unfortunately.
I mean, we caught a tuna before that.
And we did catch
In
a
the
tuna.
Caribbean.
Yeah, we did catch a tuna before then. And
Snapper.
and a snapper. That's kind of what we've caught. In the Pacific, there's a lot of tuna, and in the Caribbean, there's a lot of mahi. And if you ask me, I'm the fish eater here. He doesn't eat really any seafood. I very much prefer white fish, so like mahi mahi, tuna, I don't know, it's a particular taste. But so next question, thank you for that, Amandalyn. Um, Sin, my friend Sin at Sinfully Planned, thank you so much for all the questions. She's actually asked me so many questions like on Instagram like for months and months. And I'm actually going to include some questions that she asked me way back in May that I never actually got to like fully answer her via DM. And I still remember I never answered you since. So I'm making up for it now, several months later. And she has quite a few questions. And one of them is, when you arrive at a destination, is there a check-in or customs? So I'm going to let my hubby take over this.
Yeah, so when we arrive at a destination, I mean, as long as it's a new country that we're arriving to, we do have to check in. Every country is different. Sometimes officials will come out to you in your boat and check you in, like in Guatemala. Or sometimes, like here in French Polynesia, we have to go to land and we have to go to a police department or a police station and check in with them and all the different islands that we arrive in. So yeah, I mean every country is different, but every country you absolutely have to check in and let them know that you are in their country.
I suppose you can get away with it like illegally, like nobody really formally checks. Like there's no police that comes to our boat and like asks for paperwork. So, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but so Sin, you can kind of get away with not checking in. I don't want to like advertise that, but also I've never really experienced any officials coming up to our boat and asking for paperwork or anything like that. But we always try to do the right thing. So the next question that Sin has is, how do you decide on where to go next? And a lot of that is just like the world has trade winds. So you kind of just go with the trade winds. You don't ever want to sail against trade winds. And also we decide on where to go next, as in like where our pets can go to. Like if it's going to be a really difficult country to get into, which we're kind of experiencing that now, in French Polynesia. We kind of just try to do as much research as possible and avoid all of that. But if it's just like absolutely impossible to get into, then we just won't go there. How else would you say we decide on where to go besides like trade winds and
I mean, if there's somewhere interesting that we want to check out, we try to make sure that we could head that way. But yeah, I feel like most of our route has been chosen just by the natural way that people normally go around the world. You go from Panama to Galapagos to French Polynesia, work your way towards New Zealand and Australia. Um,
well, New Zealand isn't, because it's so far south, it's
yeah,
not
but I still
that
feel like
common.
people do go there
Yeah,
most of the time.
yeah.
But anyway, I mean, you can skip New Zealand and go to Australia and then work your way up into Asia and around Africa and then back across the Atlantic to the Caribbean. So, I mean, the route is pretty much um, set by the sailors that have come before.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. And then the next question is, when do you think you'll be back in the States? So I'll answer this immediately, actually. I am flying back in about a week and a half from now to the States. It's going to be crazy, insane travel time, like 21 plus hours of traveling. But I'm sure that's not exactly what you mean. When do we plan to go back? I don't know. We're kind of like up in the air currently about that. A
Couple years, probably.
couple of years, could be less, could be more. We're really, really unsure. Like we literally are talking about our future as we speak. So the next question is, what's the first thing you do when you get to land? Besides checking in, probably go to a restaurant.
I was gonna say look for food.
Yeah, look for food, get some fresh fruits and vegetables if possible. Let's see, what else? It used to be laundry, try to find a laundromat, but we now have a washer machine on board, thankfully. And that's pretty much like the number one thing is restaurant and then buy fresh fruits and vegetables. The next question Sin has is, do you feel weird when you finally get off the boat? Like, do you feel like you're still on water? And actually, surprisingly, no. I thought after sailing across the Pacific Ocean for 26 days straight, I thought that whenever we would get off the boat, I would feel a little funny. But surprisingly, no. It used to be, though, at the very beginning of our sailing, that I did feel a little bit like wobbly, like everything around me was still moving, but I don't experience that anymore. Would you say you ever experienced that?
2016 I did when we lived on our first boat, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a long time since then.
So, and then since last question is because I had like talked to her about pirates, so she asks, can you carry any weapons to fend off pirates? And the reason why she asked that was because I was telling her right off the coast of Nicaragua, there it's known for piracy. And when we were sailing from Honduras to Cayman Islands to go down south to Panama, we have to kind of go around the corner of Nicaragua, which is known for piracy, and we do not have a gun or anything on board. We chucked it overboard right before arriving to Mexico. So we've talked about some methods about fending off pirates. Would you like to name a couple?
I mean, I right now we don't really have any way to fend off pirates. I think we've talked about a spear gun. I don't know what else we could do. I would probably get squirt guns and fill it with gasoline and squirt them and try to throw flares at them and catch their boat on fire. I don't know what else you could possibly do in a situation like that. I don't think a gun would really help, especially if it's multiple people with guns. They probably have fully automatic guns that we're not going to have access to in America unless you have an FLL license or an FFL license. But yeah, we don't. So
No, not really. So thankfully we have not encountered any piracy, so we've not had to worry about that. That was like our only worry. So next is Gail, the planning girl, and she asks, tell us about the sailboat and your life. So the sailboat, I think we touched on this on the first video. The sailboat is a 1986 38-foot island packet. So that the boat is 38 feet long, and um it's old. It's an old it's an old boat. It's, it's not like the prettiest and the most roomiest, but it's our home. So it's not got a lot of storage, so you get to see a lot of stuff out and about, but also that's partially me because I guess I could put stuff in baskets and kind of like hide stuff that way. But yeah, and then you want to know about our life. So it's nice that we don't have a schedule really. Like we just go with weather really. You just wake up and don't really know what you're gonna do that day. Um, this has actually kind of been a mental hurdle for me in the past, where this is like the longest I've ever been without working or anything. This is actually why I started this channel, was to kind of like work through that. Too much time is like not a good thing because it just, you have a lot of time to think and get sad over things that you have no reason to be sad about. So there's bugs, you guys. Sorry if you see bugs flying around. It's actually a warm day today. There's no wind. So yeah, we wake up and decide, what do we want to do today? Sometimes we plan ahead and do touristy things. Sometimes we just go for an evening walk. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. That's our life. We sail. We live as normal as
I
possible.
mean, yeah, I feel like it is kind of just a normal life
Yeah.
in different
And then,
places all the time. I mean, sometimes I will get up and just play video games all day long. Like,
and I'll just scroll on Instagram, which is really bad. I'm trying not to do that.
yep.
So the next question Gail has, which she has quite a few, she wants to know, how come you are sailing? We are sailing because this has been a dream, not a lifelong one, but it's been a dream for a very long time. And we've also wanted to travel. So that's why we're doing it. How did it get started? It started by reading a book, becoming inspired, working really hard towards it, and actually doing it and educating ourselves. Well, him educating himself more than I, because like I still have tons more to learn, and it's partially because for safety reasons, not necessarily because I want to, because it's not a passion of mine. But next question Gail has is, she says, you are from Pennsylvania. What got you into sailboat and traveling?
Book.
The book. And we've always wanted to travel. We come from a very small town in Pennsylvania. Gail is also from Pennsylvania as well. So, very small town, and we just wanted to leave. We just want to experience life, before we like officially settle down and have a family and all of that. And the next question is, how long will it continue? As long as we have money and as long as we have the willpower, we'll figure it out along the way. Gail's next question is, let me make these bigger. Where have you been and where all were you go? So we bought this boat in Florida, in Indiantown, Florida. So that's like the most northern end of southern Florida. And then we sailed it down to the Florida Keys, got married in the Florida Keys in 2021. Then we went to Guatemala. We did a whole season there in Guatemala. We did some boat work. Then from there, we sailed straight back to the Florida Keys. And then that's our second season. So from Florida Keys, then again, we went to Bahamas. From Bahamas, Jamaica, back to Guatemala and did a second season in Guatemala and did more boat work. And so then from Guatemala, our second season in Guatemala, we went to Honduras. No, we went to Belize and then Honduras, then Cayman Islands, then Panama, crossed the Panama Canal, so from Caribbean Atlantic to the Pacific, and sailed all the way to French Polynesia, and that's where we are, and that's been our entire sailing history. We totally skipped the Eastern Caribbean islands. We just went the Central American route because we had some boat work to do. Where all would we go? The idea was to go around the world. We are rethinking. Sometimes we feel like doing it, sometimes we don't. So we're still up in the air talking about that currently. My goal, I would be the most happiest if we made it to New Zealand or Australia. So that'll be sometime next year. After that, I don't know. I can't tell you. So Gail's next question is, what are your jobs? We don't have jobs. We're literally living. We're bums. We're sailor trash right now. We're living off of savings. So
if you have a job, we'll take it.
Yeah, Gail. So if you know of any jobs, I know you're a teacher, but like I have not a teaching degree, but I have an associate's degree in teaching. So Gail, maybe we'll move back to PA for a little bit, and if you have a job to offer me, I'll take it. Can we do a tour of the boat? I know I've actually had this question a couple of times. It's like asking to do like a home tour, and our home is very cluttered all the time. It's a small living
We
area.
already have the video shot.
Yeah, we have the video shot. Okay, enough of the tangent. We have the video shot. I need to edit it. I just need to learn how to use the new editing software. I've been putting that off for so long, and we've been thinking about starting a sailing channel, YouTube channel. So I will definitely post it and like advertise it on my social media on Instagram whenever that video comes out. So leave her alone, please. Gail, your next question is, how does showering in freshwater work? So we have a water maker which turns salt ocean water into fresh drinkable water, and that's actually what we drink and use to shower and wash dishes and all of that. We don't have like a proper shower like bathroom, and on sailboat terms it's called a head. We actually just shower outside in the cockpit. We just use a hose and shower out there. And if there's a lot of people, then we use a bathing suit. And if there's a marina, like we're currently at a marina, then I'll just shower at the marina facilities. And then Gail's last question is, how does your dog go potty? So she's acting up right now. She's acting a fool. I wish you could see her. We bought her this fake grass. This is like attempt number 2 at buying a fake grass for her. And we got her trained successfully a second time around to use the fake grass pad. So that's actually outside, like on the side of the boat. And she just does her business there, thankfully. So that's how she goes potty on the boat. And that's all of Gail's questions. So now we're going to move on to Melanie Cruz. She commented on my YouTube videos, and she also wanted to know how we started, which we've already covered, and how long have we been sailing. This is year
4, I guess. I don't know. When do you want to count it?
2021 we started.
So 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. I mean, we're going on about 4 years now.
Almost 4 years of sailing, which our very first time, like thinking about like our sailing adventure, we said we're gonna take 5 years, and we might just take the 5 years to go around the world, or not. I don't know. We don't know. Okay, so do we plan to go back to normal life? And again, I don't know how to answer this question. We have no idea. Some days I'm like, oh, I'm so tired of living on this boat. And other times I'm like, no, we just need like a bigger boat on a catamaran. Well,
Even not living on a boat, though, we've also talked about living in an RV,
yeah,
buying property, and trying to become self-sustaining.
yeah.
And
That has been my dream. I've always wanted to have a farm and have horses and just live off of our land and property. And of course, traveling was another dream and passion of mine. I guess I don't know if we'll ever go to a normal life. Maybe. I don't know. So how do we finance all of this? Matt had a business that shut down, unfortunately, at the end of last year, 2023, around October. And we've just been living off of our savings. So yeah. And Melanie, that was Melanie's last question. So now another subscriber of mine, KTK1964. Let me know what your name is in the comment section. I like to address people by their names. She or they want to know, how do the cat and dog do while sailing? We've touched on this in the first video, I believe, but they have done phenomenally. Like the cat used to get really seasick, but in our ocean crossing and some of our smaller sailing adventures since then, he's not gotten sick. I think the ocean crossing he's gotten sick just once. So, and I didn't get sick at all. And the dog never gets sick. So she's really the trooper here. Like, she does so amazing. Really, really proud. She's like the best dog ever. Seriously. And then their last question is, can you talk on taking care of them? Okay, so they basically have to see a vet every single time we go to a new country. It's just the way it is. They go to the vet more than we go to the doctor. Like, it's insane. Taking care of them, we have to plan ahead enough to like, I always try to give them the same food that I had been giving them before boat life. So we bring all the litter. Also, that's another thing. Like, litter is kind of hard to come by here in French Polynesia. I bring all the litter, all the food. What else? Taking care of them. I mean, what else? Food. Vet visits. Um,
I mean, there's not too much to taking care of them. The cat just hangs out around the house like he would normally if we were living in a house.
He uses the boat as his jungle gym, especially at night. We're literally sleeping and he's just, you can hear the running up above on the deck, just just like zooming and zooming this way and that way. So he is super active at night. Sometimes he wakes me up. There's been a time, because we sleep with the hatches open, of course, for ventilation. There's been times where he's jumped down through the hatch or the window that we have on the deck onto me, onto the bed, and just have woken me up scared. And he's not done that in a very long time, but he used to do that. And yeah, he does a lot more of the playing with them. I don't know, I just take care of them, like just feed them, love them. But he definitely does more playing with both of them. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. I don't know if I answered your question. Let me know in the comment section. If you want to know more information, then I will try to answer it more in depth. And I think this is pretty much it. This is the end of our questions. I just have like some general questions, like what happens if we can't sail?
Motor.
Yeah, we just motor. What kind of motor do we have?
A Yanmar 4JHE. 44 horsepower.
44 horsepower. And how do we get to land and back to the main boat?
Dinghy.
We use something called a dinghy. Yeah, we didn't make this up. It's like our little inflatable boat that we use that has a little outboard on it, or like a little motor on it. That's 15 horsepower. And we use that to get to mainland.
I mean, it goes way faster than our big boat.
Yeah, it goes, I think we've tried running it full throttle, and
I don't remember how fast we were going. 16 knots maybe, or
I think we
17
were
knots?
going 16 knots, which is equivalent to 16 miles per hour
Ish.
ish. And then the last question is the very, very last general question is what it's like traveling with pets.
Sucks. Sucks.
It sucks, he says. I don't recommend it, you guys. It's tough. It's insanely, insanely expensive. It's tough for you and them. Logan has gone through, like, he gets stressed. He used to get a lot more stressed than he is now. Like, he's sailed across an ocean now, so he is honestly set. But it's expensive, and I don't recommend it. But I do love the fact that I have companions, but it is another thing to worry about. So it's like pluses and minuses to everything. But they existed before we had the boat, not by his choice, because I just didn't know when we were going to sail, and I really wanted a dog and I really wanted a cat, and I got them, and then soon after we got the boat. But I think this is the end of the video. I want to thank my husband for joining me here for part 2. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to wrap up the video now, so everybody give my husband a round of applause. Clap emoji, clap, clap, clap. Thank you. Alrighty, so it's just us here now, and we've made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for making it this far. If you have made it this far, pretty please leave a wave emoji. And if you have any other questions, make sure you leave them down below. I'll answer them in the comment section. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the YouTube collab video as promised. This isn't like my first time doing this or anything, and if you are not new, you know how it goes. But Lisa Marie over at Creatively Lisa Marie, she is the creator and host of these YouTube collabs. So thank you so much, Lisa Marie, for including me a part of these YouTube collabs. And they are a loop. So if you started with my video, you're going to click the next person down below, which is going to be Maegan over at Crafty Lover. It's mostly a lot of us planner people that do these collabs. So there's all kinds of different kind of content, but mostly planner related. So pretty please check out Maegan after my video. And you're just going to click on everybody's description after watching their video, and then you know that you have finished the loop when you return to the original person that you started watching. So that's how the loop group works, and we would so appreciate your support more than anything. We really just are a bunch of smaller YouTubers just trying to make content that hopefully the audience enjoys. And also, it's a new way of finding new people. So I thank you so much for making it this far. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you like it. I so appreciate it. If you want to see more videos from me, make sure you hit the big red subscribe button. It is free after all. I hope to catch you all in the next one. Bon voyage!